Afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all well. I just taking a wee look through the charts here, and after yesterday's move, which as much as it was a big move yesterday, like it all came on that news, and yeah, very very easy to get caught out, very easy to not be able to get in. It was yeah later on in the evening time, it was a bit nicer, but yeah, certainly earlier on. It was definitely quite violent, and one of those ones where you just don't want to be losing money. Um, but today I've kind of taken a step back and I'm looking at the weekly charts and kind of looking to see what we have going on there because again, bigger picture here is really key. Obviously, the sentiment out there is after yesterday is certainly bullish. And does that mean we're now rallying into the end of the year or into this next Fed meeting, which is the 13th of December? So about 4 weeks from now, goodness knows what's going to happen. But all this data that is now coming out about inflation, whether it's PCE, non-farm, all the other little bits of US data that's coming out in between times, is definitely going to be key as to what's actually going to happen here. But yeah, there's another. So the Fed rate is the 13th of December, and that's the hope is now they're only going to hike 50 basis points instead of 75. But anyway, that's well down the line. Between now and then, I just want to figure out what's going on. So this is the Dow on the weekly chart. This is COVID striking in here. And you can see we've been up here, and obviously this is where we're at now. So this is the weekly. So this is this week. These were two great weeks in here. And yeah, this is then kind of just the bigger picture. So these are the pivots that's on this here is actually the yearly pivots, which I very rarely look at, to be honest. But again, look, bigger picture, stepping back from things, kind of trying to figure out what's happening. Again, I want to be considering all levels and kind of looking at things as high level as possible to see if we're running into any levels. So this being the yearly pivot here on the Dow, this will certainly cause us some resistance. Yeah, obviously earlier in the year, there would have been a lot of interaction around in here. And certainly here it's got above it and rejected it again. So guys, this is really just a wee video just to look through the charts and kind of see what the equities are doing with their bigger picture pivots as such. On the Dow, so I've marked this as the yellow here. So on the Dow and the weekly, so again, yes, S1 was down in here. I didn't really pay much attention to it, to be quite honest, which may have been a mistake at the time. But anyway, we're here now. But yeah, as you can see, we are now pushing on. This is the daily. So again, the monthly, we're nicely above the monthly pivot in here. Does the Dow have the strength to be getting up above this here and be running into Christmas up here? I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see. Well, it's all news dependent, guys. So we'll just have to wait and see. But basically all I'm looking for now is levels and pivots. So now working my way down from the time frame, I can see there's a bit of room in here. And then going down into the lower time frame, I know we're now above. So we're now down onto the 4 hour. And you can see that yesterday we were down here. We were down on the weekly pivot, and we've gone from the weekly pivot up to S2, or sorry, up to R2 in quite a short space of time. Because the most of this bar here probably happened in about 5-10 minutes, and then it messed about for a while, and then eventually it started to kick on again. So yeah, this was definitely this bar here was incredibly difficult to trade. Don't be worried if you missed out on it. I'm sure there's a lot of people didn't get much of it yesterday, to be quite honest. So yeah, R2, we're now above the weekly R2, which is a bit concerning, but it's not the first time that we've done it recently. There was a couple of weeks ago we done it, and actually the Friday Proved to be quite a nice one for me. It kind of came down and tested that R2, and you started to use it as support then, and away it went. And like even to go back to yesterday, I just need to change my pivots to give us get another pivot on here so that we can see what happened yesterday with a on the 15 minute. So in the 15-minute yesterday, you can see, this was incredible bar mess in here, and then it was later on it might start to rumble on nicely. But again, the daily R2 was here. We ended up at R3. So anything is possible. You can see it obviously took a bit of time to get through R2. Like that. There's from a quarter. This is before the open. So like this was the open yesterday. This was a mess, trundled up, really messy. And then came back down. I did get a little bit of a short in here as I did post. There was a lovely inverted, a lovely. I think it was a double top, and then a break and retest. Nobody special. But yeah, it was lovely to trade. And I was on the train at the time, so I very rarely trade on my phone. But I was looking at it and I took a nominal position just for the sake, just to see how it worked out. And it worked out quite nicely. I was hoping that it was going to come back down again, but obviously that didn't quite happen. But had my stop loss in a nice place that it was still a nice enough wee trade for me. But yeah, today then you can see it's quite far up here. Again, this yellow line is the yearly pivot. And again, I'm not really, I don't know much about yearly pivots. I don't know how it's going to interact with it, but I'll treat it exactly the same as any other pivot. I know that it is going to cause some kind of reaction. So if this comes down here today, my plan for today, which would be quite nice if it would come down onto, and again come down onto the weekly R2, use it as support, give me some kind of bullish intention, and then get a bit of a run up here, possibly. Now, today is a bank holiday in America, so the bond market is closed. We probably it will be lighter liquidity today, but again, going with what happened yesterday, anything is possible. So again, that's the Dow. Again, let's just go down into the smaller time frame here to see. I'm sure you have all seen this yourselves, but a bar that moves, the fact that it came down here, first of all, came down to the low, so it spiked down 120 points, 150 points, spiked down, to then go up. Yeah, absolutely crazy. Up from about 600 points in a minute. That's the broker that I'm with actually froze. So, and again, I find it quite startling whenever the broker freezes and then you kind of go, well, is it going to freeze again and jump back down and just wipe me out? So I was very hesitant to get in here, and again, you basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 good minutes, and then it was just sideways. Small trade in here. Yeah, there was a couple of opportunities, but this was a lovely break and retest in the equities last night for all you break and retest traders out there. This was quite late on, and as I say, it wasn't really at my screen. I was just keeping an eye on things to see how it was going, because I did think it was going to roll over. R2, the weekly R2. So this is a big target. Came up, back down again. So we've got double top, came down. Here you go. Perfect break and retest. And I just happened to, I was getting in here, just seeing it. I was like, yeah, stop loss here. Down we went. And it did. I was hoping to let it run, but whenever it started to form up here, I closed it, so it did, and got out of it. And then it did start to, actually that started then a nice new trend coming in here, at which point I was not at the screens or able to do anything with it. But yeah, that was, yeah, and then as you can see then, it also ran up then to the weekly R2. Ran up to the weekly R2, and overnight then they have taken it above the weekly R2. And yeah, it's sitting up here. So again, for today, let's just move down to the 5 minute here. What we're doing in the 5 minute. Yeah, it's really a case of waiting for the open. See if there's. It won't take much for me to walk away from this today, to be quite honest. Um, Especially not after yesterday's price action, and it is bank holiday. So again, down some kind of double bottom or inverted head and shoulders, up retest. Away we go. Is that a possibility? Yeah, it is. But again, and again, the other thing is people maybe sort of thinking that yesterday was a little bit too hot and they may come down and kind of down here. But until I get clear of this pivot here, which is the weekly R2, I will be definitely very cautious as to what's happening with that there. Guys, that's the Dow. The S&P, I want to go to the weekly in the S&P. Again, bigger picture to start with, guys. Very, very easy to get lost in the smaller time frames. Very easy to get lost in the on the 1 hour, even 4 hour daily. But bigger picture is we are well below our yearly pivot, but this S1 has come into play, and you can see there's quite a bit of interaction with it in here on various weeks where it has rejected it. Yeah, it's been through it several times, but again, I am cautious that this will cause a reaction up there. Okay. And again, this 3,500 level that Ray had on here is, yeah, it bounced off that and it's having a lovely go. It took a bit of effort to get through the 3,900 yesterday. I had been looking at that, and yeah, it certainly took a bit of an effort to get through it, but once it was through it, it ripped. But yeah, down in the daily, guys, it's again they're all the equities were doing something totally different. And again, yesterday we were sitting on not only the monthly pivot. Yeah, we were actually yesterday we were on the monthly pivot on the S&P. So again, that was another note for caution for me. But it had again, the S&P had a fantastic run. Didn't get any of it, to be honest. But yeah, again, with this S1 up here, there's a possibility we might get a run up to R2 in the weekly in the S&P, possibly. But again, we need all three of them to go. But yeah, this is definitely. It looks bullish, but we'll see how bullish it remains now whenever they open up. As you can see here, this level has been spoke about several times now with various webinars. You can see that this is the 1 minute chart we're on here, guys, but you can see the interactions with it. You know, it took it 3 times to get through it, came back and retested it, and then it started to crumble along, and then it came back again. So, and then it was eventually then it did start to run on. So again, levels are very, very important. Pivots, again, that pivot there is, sorry, where is this gone? Yeah, that's the weekly R1. Just seeing that there, I need to put this yellow one's in the way of that. So again, guys, this is purely just kind of looking to see where's the next place it's going to stop or where it's going to come breaking through it. The Nasdaq done 7 points, as you can see here, QQQ 7.3% yesterday, which has phenomenal. But the Nasdaq has been incredibly weak. So again, let's start with the weekly. Starting with the weekly, yeah, again, very, very similar. Nice time up, but then it has been getting a lot more sold. It's actually come down onto this. And again, I didn't realize this at the time, but it came down onto the yearly S2. So to break that level there at the yearly S2, I would imagine that's quite a solid level. But these markets have proven that there's nothing is impossible. And if you think that there's a possibility that probably won't happen, it very easily could. But yeah, this is what we have now. And again, we're on the weekly here. So as you can see, the weekly has been, the last 5 weeks in the Nasdaq, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, it's been pretty messy in here. This year's pretty messy as well. Again, yesterday the Nasdaq was on the underside of its monthly pivot, and again that was probably more inclined to be coming off again and coming back down to this level here. But CPA, the optimism of America, fantastic. Everybody jump on, away we go. And again, it has rallied up. So again, it's getting up to these levels here again where it has struggled. If you remember some of my previous videos, which spoke about this was this is last month's pivot. And it, you can see how difficult it was for it to get through that there. But again, if this is going to be a continuation, there needs to be some kind of clear cycle above that to actually show that we are definitely going to be going. And again, the Nasdaq done the most of it in 5 or 10 minutes. So again, getting up to a level in the Nasdaq. Let's go down to as much as you can see now with the having gone down to the smaller time frame. We haven't really broken away from this level as yet. Like that, we've gone above it, and then we're sort of back down through it again. So I need to reassess my level there and get another level drawn on there. But guys, you can see we're definitely getting into a seller's region, but optimism that's out there after yesterday's CPI prints. Well, we'll just have to see how the market opens up and see if they're willing to continue with this. It's certainly been good for a few stocks, and yeah, it's definitely that was the one nice thing from yesterday. A lot of my stocks have done well. A couple of my stocks have done quite well out of yesterday. So I need to assess those and see what's going to happen with those now over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, guys, we're at this level here. So it's definitely interesting to see kind of what has happened with the CPI, and all the plans that we kind of had. Are they out the window or are they not? What's going to happen now? Well, I think the rest of this week, next week, there's a lot more data coming out, and again, it's just a case of being reactive in and around the open, seeing what's going to be coming. Because if we look at the US Open yesterday from let's look at the US Open from yesterday. So again, you can see that the Open yesterday was, after that huge bit of buying, there was a bit of selling coming in there, coming up, breaking a retest in here, and away we went. So again, that's kind of where the QQQ, the DIA, the SPY gives you that structure and actually gives you a bit of a level where you kind of, you can see this coming into here, rejecting it and getting in. So again, guys, stay safe out there. I hope you have a great weekend. Hope you have had a good week, and I hope to talk to you in coaching sometime soon. And yeah, let's see what the market has to offer. All right, guys, for now, have a great weekend, and we'll talk soon. Bye.